recording.
already.
Oh, I think that was somebody's AI that was
Oh,
recording. Okay.
okay.
But now it looks like on my screen, I am recording. I don't want to miss out on this. Yeah, it looks like I am. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here today. Thank you for being here for our holiday edition of a Stars in Higher Ed uh, webinar. And this is a gift to all of us this holiday season to have Carla Stanford from Reading Universe and Margie Gillis and Nancy Eberhart from Literacy How to talk about not just their collaboration, but things that they're also individually involved in, and many, many different resources that can support your work in teacher prep. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Nancy, I think is starting us off.
Yes, I am. Can you see that?
Yes, looks
Yeah.
great.
Thank you. Margie.
Yes, it is wonderful to be here, and thank you for inviting us, Stephanie, and for just giving us that beautiful introduction. And we look at this as a gift as well. So I know we are all in the same club, wanting to help our kids. And so, without further ado, because I know we have an hour and we probably want to get a lot packed into that hour. I'm just going to kick us off and talk a little bit about our professional learning series, and then I'm going to share a little about syntax, and then Nancy's going to share a little bit about comprehension, and then Carla is going to take us home talking about the work that she's done with Reading Universe. I know some of you, and I'm happy to meet new people this evening, but just a little bit of background on the Literacy How Professional Learning Series. Literacy How is a nonprofit organization that I founded and am president of, founded in 2009. And it's an organization that does a lot of its work face to face with teachers, and mostly in the state of Connecticut, because it's hard to be face to face in all those other states. I wish we could. But we do a lot of professional development embedded in teachers' classrooms, and really bringing the science of reading into practical application. And for years we did professional development, but we didn't have materials. We gave the teachers a binder and we said, here are some great activities you can try. And they fill up their binder over the course of the year of doing workshops with us monthly. And then I decided we needed to manualize, if that's the right word, or put this work into some form that they could hold in their hands and use when they were teaching their classes. And I reached out to Nancy because Nancy and I had known each other for many years. I have a great deal of respect for the work that she's done, and I felt like we would be a great team, and we were, and we still are. And we wrote the series really thinking about, again, practicalities of putting science of reading into practice. We, Literacy How came up with this reading wheel way back when we first started doing our work to depict all the components that go into comprehensive literacy. So you see oral language is at the core, and then we have distributed other uh, components of literacy, including writing and written expression, as you can see here on the reading wheel. If you want to go to our website, you can take a picture of the QR code and it'll take you directly to our website. So we wrote 4 books over the course of several years. We started with phonemic awareness and phonics, and then we went to vocabulary, and those two were fairly straightforward. When we decided to go next to syntax, which, by the way, you might remember, if you could go back one slide, Nancy, if you don't mind. Um, Sorry.
Yeah.
We ended up, we being Literacy How, we ended up taking fluency out of the reading wheel. It was there originally because it was one of the 5 big ideas. But as we watched teachers trying to help kids improve their reading fluency, what we saw a lot of was getting kids to read faster. And we kept saying it's not about speed, it's about accuracy and prosody and all these things, kind of falling on deaf ears a little bit. So then we decided, okay, we're going to do something really drastic. We're going to remove fluency from the reading wheel, not because reading fluency isn't important. We all know how very important it is, but we felt that we could, I don't know if kill two birds with one stone is the right way to say it, but we felt like we could talk about reading fluency and we could explicitly teach our teachers, who in turn would teach their students about how syntax is really important in developing reading fluency. And not only that, it's super important for reading comprehension. Okay, so sorry I digressed a bit. So again, when we started to look at syntax, our third book, we really got excited because we felt like there was so much we wanted to teach teachers about, and teachers really, for whatever reason, maybe because they never really learned much about syntax in the first place, it really resonated with them.
Mhm.
And syntax then led us to comprehension, which was another exciting topic, which this is what our books are all about. We do build some knowledge because we obviously all agree that teachers need to have knowledge. But you know what? So many of them are like, just tell me what to do. I don't need to know the theory. I'm like, yes, you do need to know the theory. Yes, you need to know research. But we do get right down to the meat of the matter fairly quickly in our books. So on the next slide, you'll see that we have used Jean Charles' stages of reading development to help teachers understand that reading doesn't just happen. It's not like you turn the switch and it's on or off. It happens over a period of time. We all know this. And so the way that the book is organized is across these stages. What would you do with students who are at the pre-alphabetic stage in terms of syntax knowledge? What would you do at stage one, where they're learning how to decode words? And maybe they're reading decodable text. So how would you use decodable text to build syntactic awareness and knowledge? And then at stage two, what would that syntax instruction look like? And we, as I said, do want teachers to have some background knowledge about the research behind teaching syntax. And so this slide just shows, what is relevant for students who are at the pre-alphabetic stage in terms of syntax and syntactic awareness. What do we know from the research about that particular stage of development? And likewise, what do we know for stage one and stage two? And by the way, these phases are very similar to Linnea Aries' stages and phases. We just chose Jean Shaw because she was the originator, I guess. She was the original person who talked about stages of development. And on the next slide, you'll see that we also talk about the principles of structured literacy instruction. So each of our books points out and explicitly describes what instruction would look like in terms of these pedagogical principles, which we all are very familiar with. But we take this into the context of whatever the book is that we're delving into. We also, as I mentioned earlier, are really adamant about giving teachers the activities, the methods of instruction so that they can really bring this into the classroom. And there's a lot out there for phonemic awareness and phonics. There's a fair amount out there for vocabulary. There really isn't a whole lot on syntax. So we're very excited to share this with you and hope that you find it helpful in your courses, and that in turn your teachers will find this information and the activities that come with it useful in terms of teaching what we think is an incredibly important piece of the literacy puzzle. So again, the activities, this is just a snapshot. We have a whole bunch of activities in all of our books, but this just shows one set of activities called sentence building. And sentence building, you'll see this in action in a moment in a video, just a quick snapshot of a video of what this looks like in action, and again, across the different stages. So in this particular example, before you press the play button, Nancy, there's a QR code here. And the reason I wanted to share this with you is because we have a lot of videos on our website. So if you get this QR code, it will take you to our YouTube channel. And on the YouTube channel, you'll find playlists for all of the different domains of literacy, including syntax. And so the video that you're going to see here is in the syntax playlist. So I'll just play, 1 or 2 minutes, whatever you think, Nancy.
Yeah, till there's a natural stopping point, I think.
Okay.
So let me know if you can all hear this when it goes.
This is a kindergarten classroom. Can everybody hear it okay?
We can hear it. Yep.
Okay, great. Kindergarten classroom.
All right, so let's put these words out. And what we
Oh, I
have
take
to
this
do when we
back.
have
Sorry, this is
scrambled
second grade
sentence,
classroom.
We have
Sorry.
to find the action word, the word that is called the verb. What word here is the doing word? Like if you were talking about the who do, it's the do.
Ride.
Ride, yeah. You can ride, right? Sit down in a car and you ride, or you ride a bike. So that's going to be our doing word. Okay? Oh, what did you want to say about this?
Skip.
That's a doing word, but you know what? Since it's a capital, this is actually a person's name. Okay? Because you could have the name Skip. All right, so here's our do, ride. Who? Now, so let's go with a who do. Who is going to ride?
Skip. Stand. Stand.
You're right and you're right.
Stand and skip.
Correct. Put that in front, please. All right, so now what does it say?
Stand and skip. Ride.
Good. All right, what do we have left?
Down. The hill. The hill. The hill. The hill went down. Is how it
We have stand and skip, ride. Now, down.
the hill.
Oh, there you go. Does that tell us when or where or why? Down the hill. Does that tell us where they're going? Where are they going?
Down the hill.
It does tell us where. Does it tell us when they did it? No, it tells us where. So who, do, where. Who's doing it? Stand and skip. What are they doing?
Riding.
Riding. Where are they riding?
Down
Down the hill. Great job. Now you guys are going to do.
Thanks, Nancy. So you could watch the end of that video and see the whole progression. It's basically taking a sentence, a scrambled sentence, and unscrambling, and you could see how Elke asked the questions to get them to understand, the when phrase, or in this case, the where phrase. And it's the sentence building activity that supports students of understanding of how sentences work. The other thing that we do in all the books is we support and we give teachers a deeper understanding of how they should plan their instruction based on the text that they're teaching, right? And the students that they're working with. So this is a text analysis where we're basically giving teachers guidance on how to look at their text analytically and think about what does this text lend itself to, in this case, syntax. And this activity is using that sentence building that you just saw Elke use, or what she was doing with her students in the context of the text. So we're not just pulling these activities out of thin air and doing them for the heck of it. We're really doing it to support the students' understanding of the sentences within the text. And that's a very important message that we keep I think, trying to drive home for them. Last but not least, what's the next slide? Yes, that's what I thought. We have a syntax course we're very, very excited about, and we hope that you will take advantage of that, of taking the course. And we've offered you a code so that you could get $100 off the course. So it's basically half price Cyber Tuesday sale. Um, we we think that the course is really valuable, and we hope that you will find it so as well, and it will help in the work that you're doing. So on that note, I'll leave you to your next guest, Nancy Eberhart, who will introduce herself.
Okay. And I am Nancy Eberhart, and I have the privilege and pleasure of working with Margie, having worked with Margie on the development of these books. And funny story, when she came to me, she wanted to write a handbook to, as she was saying, translate or turn all these binders of material into a handbook, a single handbook. And you know how things never go exactly as you intended. Um, but it was very heavy on the research, hadn't really gotten to the activities. And I told Margie I didn't want to write a textbook per se. I wanted to do what I kept hearing teachers say, which is, I know now you're telling me this information, I still don't know what to do. I want to learn what to do. And so with that in mind, we revamped the idea a little bit, actually quite a lot. And it worked out better. We ended up discovering to do each domain as its own book so that you weren't lugging around a handbook that was, 800 pages. So that is the backstory on how we came to have each little book. So I'd like to talk a little bit about comprehension. It follows the same principles that Margie just described for syntax. We do the same review. We did the same review of research, trying to organize it in a developmental progression. As said earlier, the lines are blurred on this, but we're trying to convey in the way we presented this that you can't expect and shouldn't expect the same thing at every point. And so kind of distributing what to expect over time. And the other thing I'm not sure that we've emphasized yet is we really approach this for beginning readers. We're tackling syntax for the littles. We're tackling comprehension for the little kids because, again, we're not seeing a lot of material available to translate some of these other non-phonemic awareness and phonics information into practice. So in terms of comprehension, the way we organized this particular book was to comb that research and to find out what areas of comprehension did we have information about instructional impact. And there were 5 that we kept coming up with. One was text structure, background knowledge, cohesion, inference, and the reading-writing connection. And because these were the areas that had the greatest, we had the greatest information about its instructional value, these were the big ideas that we organized the book, this particular comprehension book. And very much the same idea that Margie showed for syntax, we organized the activities by first those big ideas, as you'll see in the chart. So we have I can't see the first one because it's covered by something, but we have background knowledge and we have text cohesion. So each big idea has activities for teachers to use, and we also developed a version or a type of activity that was developmentally in a progression. So I'm going to focus for a moment on an activity that we did within inference because I'd like to show you the connection between this table an activity and then how it connects to the text that students might be reading. So with that, let me go to the next one. Oh, wait a minute, what happened? Yeah, no, okay, I'm going to go back. So very important, Margie already mentioned this, but to reiterate, we took the approach that and we called it cognitive preparation, that when teachers are preparing to use a text, and perhaps we've worked on some of the more skill type work, in this case for inference on use what you know, and that activity has to do with if we know a little bit from the text, what could we speculate or infer was going on? So we try to take an activity that we have taught and then look at text and try to apply that thinking for the activity to a particular text. So we're not just working on skills in isolation, but very quickly encouraging teachers to use this while they're having reading to students or having students read to themselves. And again, this is where the lines blur a little bit between who's doing the reading, but we can still be working on some of these skills. So this particular example is, again, taking the activity, use what you know, using a ReadWorks, which is another free resource, a story from there called Our New Old House. And showing in the circled part here is showing what were we thinking to match this activity to this particular text. So we're kind of doing a think aloud to help teachers get that idea of using activities with particular text. So in partnership with Reading Universe, we have an inferencing activity or video to show you. So I'd like to let you see a little bit of this. Whoops. Now I'll show you a little bit of this.
Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so happy to be here today to read to you Carlos and the Squash Plant. It's one of my favorite stories, and I think you'll like it too. We're going to be listening for the characters, the setting, the problem, the feelings, all those things that are part of stories, okay? Let's get started. So, boys and girls, now we're going to go through the text and we're going to be talking about something that happens in our minds, okay? The author writes text or sentences, and then he or she writes some more sentences. But in between, we have to be thinking about what we already know and how it connects. Those are called our inferences that we use and our background knowledge. Okay.
Nancy, I'm going to interrupt you to just let you know that the video doesn't seem to be playing. We hear the audio, but should we be also seeing this sounds
story
like Elsa?
When the mother says, "Did you take
well,
your
we'll
bath?"
We'll stop.
His mother asked, looking at Carl.
I'm sorry that you're not seeing that. I'm not sure why.
Did you click that arrow in the middle?
I did.
Yeah, it's weird that we're hearing
Carlos
it,
with a raised eyebrow.
Are you just hearing
See,
it?
Mama,
yeah, just hearing it, not seeing.
Papa only shook his head.
It may have opened in a different window.
Let's
you may have
talk
to
about
share
that.
another window.
I don't know how to do that.
I dropped the link in the chat too,
To me?
just so everyone will have it if we can't see it now.
Okay. I don't think I can get to chat without going out of this. So, does it help to just listen?
I think so.
Okay, well, I think it is worth listening just to get to this where Elke is taking the students in terms of the listening. I don't think you have to see her because it's mostly conversation, though the kids are darling.
Why did the author say Papa only shook his head? What did that mean? Yes, Nellie.
I don't know if he did take a bath.
Is that what the Papa's thinking? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You don't, the pap's thinking, I don't know if he did. And how do you know that? What makes you think that? What makes you think that? That didn't say that in the text. Why do you think that? Yes,
I think
Ari.
he didn't take the bath because maybe he smells.
Oh, maybe the dad smelled it. Okay. Yes, Jace.
I think the both things add this to it, and then the dirt on his legs, shoes, hands, and the other hands, and under his nails are dirty.
So the papa,
So
he saw all that. First of all, I just want to say, nice job. I love the way you said, I agree with that, what they're saying, and I'd like to add. I loved that. That was excellent. And then you said the piece that I was thinking, the papa saw it or he noticed. Let's go to another.
Well, since you can't see it, which I feel sad about, let's go back to the slides. And I think actually we're at the end. The idea here is that Elke was demonstrating and illustrating the difference between what's in the text and what's going on in your thinking, and drew upon the students to do that. And I would encourage you to go to the Reading Universe and look for this, because it's a beautiful example of teaching inference. And with that, that's the end of what I want to say, but would be happy to answer questions either about syntax or comprehension, those two books. And as Stephanie said, Margie and I would like to gift to anyone who is here either the syntax book or the comprehension book. If you will send it, your request for whichever book it is, to my email, which you see on the screen, I will get that book off to you. So take a moment to write that down, and we look forward to sending you whichever of the books. And by the way, if you'd rather have phonemic awareness and phonics or vocabulary, we can do that too. We chose syntax and comprehension because we think there's much less out in the world on this. Those two topics for young readers, and for teachers of young readers. So
Amazing. That's so
I'm going to leave that up for a
generous,
minute.
so generous
Well,
and kind. And I agree, there's not,
mhm.
I love that those two resources bring in the oral language. It's not just reading comprehension, or it's not just supporting syntax through reading,
Right,
but
right.
also the support around oral language for those either younger students or students who are struggling with the word recognition piece, to help support them.
So I hope everyone has copied down that email address. And I'd like to now pass the baton to Carla Stanford. And in doing that, Margie and I are really honored to be working with Reading Universe as they develop the language comprehension side of their taxonomy, which Carla's going to, I'm sure, be talking to you about. And we are drawing in that process from the Literacy How Professional Learning Series books. So there's a connection between both the Reading Universe and the work that Margie and I have done together. So I'm going to stop sharing, pass it over to Carla.
That sounds good. Thank you. It's so nice to be here. And I just want to start by saying it's such an honor to have the opportunity to learn from Nancy and Margie. It's been an absolute joy to learn about syntax from these two women. And I have taken the course and it is excellent. So I just can speak to that. And prior to reading their book, I actually didn't even know what syntax was, to be honest with you. When Nancy and I are talking, sometimes I would say, and exactly what is that? And we would, we've been doing this about a year and a half now, but I think it's an area that a lot of educators like myself didn't have a lot of information on. So it's really nice to have the resource. And then I just want to say I'm the Director of Instructional Design from Reading Universe, and I have the absolute privilege of working with so many amazing educators and researchers and advisors in this role. And Stephanie Stoller is also one of those. And as we get started tonight, I want to say that she has created some syllabi for Reading Universe that we hope to have produced mid-January. I'm setting a goal, Stephanie, you've got to hold us to that. That will be available for you, for anyone online for free with, and Stephanie has written them, and she has linked open resource materials, being Reading Universe content, Reading Rockets, Coloring Colorado, or any other content that's free within the syllabi. So we're hoping to have that up mid-January so that you as professors can go on and you can grab it and take advantage of the free resources. So as we get started, I just want to say that all of the content here on Reading Universe is free. And it is for you to use. It is for you to embed in your courses, to share with your students, to share for them to watch at home, in class, however you see fit. And I just want to continue to reiterate, it is there for you to use. That is why it's here. The whole goal of Reading Universe is to provide educators the what to teach, so that teacher knowledge that Nancy was talking about, the why we do it, which is the research piece, and then the how. And, I reflect back to when I didn't actually know how to teach children to read. And as I was learning and I was getting a lot of the what and I was getting the why, and I would go back to my classroom and I was having a really hard time figuring out, how do I do dictation to a whole group of students? How do I then take this, this lesson and make it play out in a public school full of, 22 first graders? So the goal here at Reading Universe is that teachers don't get just the what and the why, but they also get the how. And so we'll look at hopefully we'll look at a few videos in a minute. So hopefully we can see, and I don't actually know, I'm going to have to stop sharing because I did not click that sound button. I didn't see it. There it is. Okay. I was sharing with Stephanie and Margie and Nancy earlier. While I can teach children how to read and I can teach teachers how to read, I work for a media company and technology is really not my thing, which is a little scary. So here we are. I'm going to go to our homepage, readinguniverse.org, and there's Antonio. And this is the homepage. And as you scroll here, you'll find the big picture. The big picture is a place where you can go and you can find research and resources to share with your students about how the brain learns to read and all the research that supports the big ideas related to the science of reading. One of my favorite articles here is by Reed Lyon, and he just lays out these 10 maxims. I often say if I were in charge of PD at a school, I would print this out for all the teachers in my building so that they could always look back to their practices and make sure that everything they're doing is really grounded in the research. Here, where it says read the research behind the maxims, you click here and all the research is listed. I use this often when I want to find a specific article to go back and reread. So you can always point your pre-service teachers back here of, why are we doing what we're doing? We're not doing it because we made it up. We're doing it because there's research that backs it. So in the big picture, we offer timely talks also, and this is an opportunity for educators to get to hear from experts in the field. And oftentimes we found that teachers don't have an opportunity to go to conferences and to hear people speak, and this is the place to do that. Here's one with Margaret Goldberg, and she's talking about how children actually learn how to read. And she talks about what she used to think and then what the science actually says and how those things were not aligning. And just because we know how to read doesn't mean we necessarily know how to teach kids how to read. We have to go through a process of learning. So these timely talks are filled with graphics they're broken up into chapters and time codes, so you could just use portions of your of the Timely Talk in your coursework or assign it in different portions. And I'm just going to play a little bit of Margaret so you can get a feel for what these Timely Talks are like. I've watched this one many, many times, by the way.
My name's Margaret Goldberg, and I'm a literacy coach in the Bay Area of California. I've been a first grade teacher, a fourth grade teacher, I've been a reading interventionist, a literacy coach, a district lead, and in that long journey, one of the things that was most helpful for me was to get a concise, clear explanation of what we call the science of reading, so that I could understand some of the things that were making sense in my practice and some of the things that were a little bit off. So today we're going to get into an introduction to the science of reading. We're going to answer the questions, how does the brain read? How do we use letters and sounds for reading? And how do we use meaning and context for reading? We're going to have some time to be able to reflect on our practice and ask some questions.
Okay, as much as I would love to watch Margaret, because I always love to watch this, I'm going to stop us now. I just wanted you to get a feel for what the Timely Talks are, how they're put together and how they really make learning easy because all the content is presented in graphics along with Margaret speaking. If we go back to the Timely Talks here, you can see we have one with Dr. Julie Washington on teaching reading to children who speak African American English. We also have one with Dr. Elsa Cardenas-Hayen related to teaching students who are English language learners. And I love watching these over and over again. And again, I'll just click on Elsa's here. We have chapters, we have the time code, so you can break it up and share it with your students. This one in particular also has a one-on-one session where Elsa is tutoring a student, Emilio, and your students can actually see the research and practice here. So it makes a really nice combo. So I'm going to take you back to the home page again. And I've got to hide this, sorry. And I'm going to show you the taxonomy. So if you click on the blue button here, it's called the taxonomy. And this is the framework for how Reading Universe is set up. And I don't know if you know Kelly Butler, but this came from Kelly Butler's Amazing Brain. And this came from the work she did with Barksdale Reading Institute in Mississippi, where she really believed that if teachers could understand how each skill was really impacting the greater goal of reading comprehension, that they would understand that it's just not this isolated lesson or skill I'm teaching, that it has a greater connection and the connections would be made. So one of the things that I love about the taxonomy, it's based on the simple view of reading. So right away, using the taxonomy, you're embedding in your students that we are doing the work that we're doing with our students and the work that you're doing with them in their courses is all based on the research. So this is Goff and Tumner's simple view of reading, word recognition times language comprehension gives us that product of reading comprehension, and navigate the site. So if you look over here, we have word recognition. If we click on articulation, it unfolds, and we have a skill explainer for articulation. All of these unfold, and each one is a skill explainer. Underneath phonics, still under word recognition, we have sound letter correspondence with skill explainers. And then we have all of the phonics patterns. And I just have to celebrate with you all, because as of Thanksgiving, every single phonics skill explainer is up. We still have more content we're adding, but we have content for everything. And we have almost 200 videos. We will have 200 videos by the end of December. So I'm going to show you the consonant digraph. Thank you, Nancy. You know how hard this has been. And Lisa Glickman's on this call too. And she's one of our phonics writers who's done so much great work. Our consonant digraph skill explainer, I'm just going to model how you can move through a skill explainer. Sorry, I'm having to manipulate my screen. As you open it up on the left-hand side, you have an orange navigation bar, and the navigation is not gated, so you can move in and out of the skill explainer as you see fit, and your students can move in and out. The overview always gives the teacher knowledge, just like the what to teach. So if I was standing in front of a group of teachers, this is all the content that I would share related to digraphs. I'm going to teach them what a digraph is. 2 letters come together, make one sound. I'm going to give them keyword picture cards. And I'm going to explain that digraphs have a particular way that they need to be articulated. And when we are teaching our students how to make these sounds, we as teachers might not actually know how to make the sounds, and that's okay. Here at Reading Universe, we believe that if you need to know it, we're trying to find a fun way to show it to you. So this is Morgan. She's an SLP, and I think that she came from Margie's school. And Margie did a lot of helping getting some of this video work going in the very beginning. So here's Morgan, and she's modeling how to pronounce the CH.
Ch, as in cheese.
And you can just click here for just sound. Over here, there's another place to hear it one more time. And then we have the features. And this is just explaining to teachers, what are the other things we can say to our students besides the sound is ch, because sometimes that is not enough. And if we can teach our teachers that we can give our kids some cues, right? Touch your voice box, say ch. Oh, it's voiceless. Ch. It's a stop sound. It doesn't go on and on and on. And here are the common spellings. Of course, we're not going to teach all of our students all of this at one time. This is all teacher knowledge. This is really plays out as we as teachers are learning how to articulate sounds. I come from the South. I have a lot of sounds I articulate the wrong way, and I had to learn the right way. If there's an E or an I beside an N, it always sounds exactly the same for me. My R's were off, and I had to practice, and this kind of articulation feature really helps teachers hear how to pronounce, think about the features, and move through it. So we have, for all the digraphs, the ways to articulate, the voice and the unvoiced TH sound. We have our WH. We have our PH sound, and then we go into, this is really important for teachers. It might be the first time they've taught digraphs, and it might be the first time they've taught students that you're going to have this one sound, but it's going to be represented with more than one letter, and it's a really big learning opportunity for our students. And then we always have in the overview for what we call a quick look, so teachers can see it in action immediately. I'm not going to show you this video. I'll show you another one a little further down. We are working to embed English language learner content throughout the Skill Explainer and to embed language variation content. So specifically for the digraph TH, we know that for children who speak African American English, that TH sound at the end of a word can be variable. It can be pronounced in multiple ways. And here, this is an explanation for teachers. It links to Julie's Timely Talk. It links to an article that Julie has written to give teachers more knowledge in case they have students in their classroom who speak African American English, so they can honor home language as they're explicitly teaching how to make a sound. We link to high frequency words, more information on digraphs. So everything a teacher needs to know about digraphs is listed here. Then we have the when to teach. Really thinking about a scope and sequence is important. We know that structured literacy depends on that this is not willy-nilly teaching, that this teaching goes in a very particular order. While our scope and sequence here, we're all about teacher knowledge. We are not, Reading Universe is not a curriculum. We're curriculum agnostic. We're really about teacher knowledge, but we're just showing you here is where we drop digraphs. So when we're giving word list, we're assuming that kids already know short vowels if they're learning digraphs. So just having an understanding, and we know that there's a pretty agreed upon scope and sequence for phonics. One or two things may be off, but across the board, they're usually pretty similar. We talk about prerequisites, and then there's the how to teach. We use a structured literacy lesson plan, really emphasizing that in order for the students' cognitive load to be spent on the job at hand, which would be learning an individual digraph as we're teaching it, keeping the lesson the same every day is really important. And like dropping the content in and moving that around is where the work happens for them and for us as teachers. And then we have our videos, See It in the Classroom. Here, I'm just going to show you a little snippet of Katina Johnson from Toledo, Ohio, introducing the digraph TH to her students.
So you know we've been working on our digraphs. We're going to go through our letter sound drill first. Okay, eyes on me. Ready? A says ah, and A says A. Good deal.
Katina Johnson begins her phonics lesson on the digraph TH with a quick warm-up, reviewing letter names and letter sounds using flashcards.
And O says O. Good. T says T. U says and U says U. All right, friends, so you know we have been working with digraphs, right? And we know that digraphs are... two letters that make one sound. Yes, we've been working with digraphs, 2 letters that make one sound. So we've had CH, what was that sound? We've had SH, what was that sound? And now we're going to have a new digraph today. Are you ready? Yes. Yes. Here is our digraph. It is TH, but I want you to pay close attention. We look at the digraph itself, that is 2 letters that make one sound. And
okay, I'm going to stop right here. I just want to point a few things out. At Reading Universe, we travel all over the country and we try to film lots of different classrooms with lots of different teaching styles with all kinds of curriculums, and it's all about teacher knowledge and the way the lesson rolls out. In the top corner, you'll see we try to really point out for the teachers the part on where the teacher is in this video in the lesson so the teacher can see the structure as we're viewing. And then we have our whisper coaching, which is our narration that is embedded in every video to tell the story of what's happening so that educators can watch a video, get the gist of it, see some good teaching, and not have to watch a 45-minute video. We have videos embedded in every single skill explainer, quick looks, full lessons, snippets throughout. You'll see a wide variety. I'm going to move on and show you we always have lesson plans. And like I said, we're Reading Universe's curriculum agnostic. So this is just a way for teachers to look and see how they could plan. Some teachers might use them exactly. Some teachers may just use them as ideas. We have lesson plans for all of them. We have word lists. One of my favorite things on Reading Universe besides the videos is all the word lists. So if you're ever looking for words, you can come here and plan your lessons. Let's see if I can get back. All right. And then we have student practice activities. So we have roll and reads and many, many, many read sheets. I'll show you this one. It shows practicing reading words, phrases, and sentences. And then here's one that's mixed digraphs. So we have lots of sentences. So just showing that no matter the curriculum, student practice is really important. That's how we get to that fluent reading, and Reading Universe has many, many opportunities for our students to practice. We also have decodables. We have assessments in every skill explainer. We can click, and I'll just show you. Oh, I didn't mean to download it, sorry. Just gives a quick reading. That's the student, the teacher checklist. Here's the student checklist, and then there's the dictation. And here in this one, we put our support for children who speak African American English or higher up in the skill explainer. And then at the end, we always have the resource hub. And we have all the videos here, all the read sheets, decodable text lesson plans. So I'm going to go back here and tell you that we have this content for all these phonics patterns, and that's how the skill explainers are roll out for every single skill explainer on the word recognition side of the simple view of reading. Now, where we've been working with Nancy and Margie is over here on the language comprehension side, and that is where we are setting our sights and, continue to check back. Nancy has already written the vocabulary skill explainer and the grammar skill explainer, and we are working to produce and then get it up on the website. So I'll just click here for words to show you. These will roll out a little differently because it's not as what's the word? It's not as easy to teach syntax as it is to teach digraphs because there's many,
Constrained.
many pieces. That's right. That's the word I'm looking for, Nancy. Thank you. On the phonics word recognition side, it's very constrained, and on the language comprehension, it's very unconstrained. And we're taking the same approach of using text and using content to really roll this content out for students. So if we click on the vocabulary here, it opens up and we have an overview. Just scrolling to show you, here's a lesson that we did that Nancy helped me write, and we taught in a classroom in Atlanta with multiple meaning words. And then here is a way for teachers to really think about words and all the layers of language that our word brings. And this comes from the Word Knowledge Network work that Nancy and Cheryl Ferlito did with Sortagories, which is now part of 95% Group. So I wanted to show you that, and then just continue to check back with us. So if you sign up for our newsletter, we send out updates of our skill explainers as they are produced. And trust me, I am chomping at the bit to get this content out. And then I want to show you the writing, because we've been working with Keys to Literacy on the writing, and we have some really amazing content here as well. I'm going to show you just quickly the overview of the sentence expansion, really talking about how to take a simple sentence and expand it. The visuals, I think, are really nice to show how this works. And we have the instructional framework from Joan. And I forgot to say earlier that Joan Sedita's Timely Talk is rolling out next week. And then the next one after that will be Tiffany Hogan, the Timely Talk on LD and language comprehension, DLD, sorry, and language comprehension. So we have what is the writing rope? And then I want to show you here on the left-hand side, this unfolds like it did in the phonics. And I want to show you on the resource hub, we have videos. And this is one of my favorite things that we have is we have the cards that you can print or you could put in a slideshow. You can download them and put them in a slideshow. Really going back to the activity that Nancy and Margie talked about, like the syntax, or Elke is building the sentence. Here are the question words that can help as you're expanding the sentence. So it's this reciprocal understanding that syntax first for reading and for writing, and that this work, once you've taught your kids these words, this function-based approach to grammar, then it helps for reading and for writing. So last thing we are working on, and let's see if I can get this. We are also working to curate content. And here is one that we've been working on with the simple view of reading, to take a topic. Like if you wanted to talk with your students about what is the simple view of reading, and we've put together the slideshow with all the resources that you could use built in. And within the speaker notes, let's see if you can see the speaker notes. I don't know if you can. I don't know that I can either. It tells you the times that each slide will take, and how long the videos are, and where to queue them up at. So I just wanted to click through and show you. It gives you questions to ask in your PD, or if you're doing it with your pre-service teachers. So we're just also working to curate content for you as you're doing the hard work, the boots on the ground. So I'm going to stop sharing and just say thank you so much. That Reading Universe is our goal is to be here for you when you're doing the hard work every day, teaching your teachers that are going to go out there and teach our children. And if you ever need anything, you can always reach out, and I can tell you where things are. And we are continuing to work with amazing people like Stephanie and Nancy and Margie and all of our advisors to develop the content so teachers have the what, the why, and the how. Thank you.
Amazing. The chat is blowing up with gratitude. Nancy, you were right. Everybody needs to know about these resources. Yeah. So much great free content here for use in teacher prep. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I know that was part of Kelly Butler's amazing
Yes.
vision for this.
Exactly
And
right.
so it's just a thrill to see that it's resonating with this group of folks. So one question that came in the chat is, as people are thinking about how they'll integrate this content into their courses and they might want to reference something into a syllabus, is there a standard way to cite Reading Universe if they're going to?
That's, I think that you just, cite Reading Universe and sometimes maybe the URL. If you screenshot something and you put it in there, you may want to put the URL so your students can find it. But I think if you have the URL and they're going to Reading Universe, that's fine. And you can go to the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel with all the videos. And then if it's easier to embed from YouTube,
Oh, nice.
from the website, you can also do that. And there are playlists on YouTube TV too. We have a whole series on how to teach a phonics lesson from start to finish. And then we also have a para reading series that we're working with Deb Glazer on, and we have phonemic awareness and phonics right now. And we're working with Jane Hasbrook on fluency right now as well.
Awesome. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to get the URL for your YouTube channel so I can put that in the chat. Oh gosh, sorry. Every time
No, Stephanie, I've already told you I'm not good at the technology piece, so you don't have to say you're sorry to me for sure.
everybody knows I'm not good at technology.
I
Okay.
just put it in for you, Stephanie.
Thank you. I have to rely on my friends for sure. Excellent. Yeah, I wanted everybody to have a direct link to go there.
And Stephanie, I just want
Excellent.
to be sure that everyone knows, please send an email to me about the book. Don't put it in the chat because I can't see it.
Yeah, so email Nancy in the largest font possible. It's helpful, right? With not like faint lettering that I'm so guilty of on my slides. Your name, mailing address, and which of those Literacy How resource books you'd like to have.
Nancy, I just sent it to that email and it bounced back.
No. What did you use?
Nancy at 3literacygroup.org.
You left out an important thing.
3T.
After the 3, there has to be the letter T.
Oh, perfect. All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you
I
for
even wrote it down on this page.
Nancy at 3T Literacy.
3T.
Dot what, Nancy?
org.
Okay. I just put that in the chat for folks.
Mm-hmm.
So email Nancy with your name, mailing address, and which of those Literacy How PD series books you would like to have a free copy of. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I know everybody's head is spinning. They just can't wait for finals to be over so they can start integrating this content into their courses. Yeah, I know Margaret said that she could teach her entire course from the Reading Universe site, and I know she's used it quite a bit already. So anybody have a quick question before we let everyone go? Oh, I'm missing a word in Nancy's email address. Thank you, Marga. Nancy at, let me get it right, 3T Literacy Group.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
.org.
Okay. Thank you.
We're going to get this yet, right?
It does take a village.
It does.
The Reading Universe resources are free for anyone to use. That is correct, Lauren. They are absolutely 100% free. Amazing.
And the
Amazing.
syllabi are expected in January. Stephanie's already done the work. Now we just have to get it, reading,
Make it look good and
styled and put it online. She's already done the amazing work.
hopefully that'll be
Stephanie,
helpful.
Is it 3?
It's a 4-course sequence. And Noel also asked for a 1 course, which is, ooh, that's hard. I hope nobody has just 1 course anymore. But yeah, if you have feedback as those get posted, definitely you can send them to the Reading Universe folks, or you can send feedback to me. And we hope that it will be living, breathing documents that will evolve and improve over time, especially as Carla said, as more content is added to Reading Universe, we'll be able to link to directly from the syllabi to the free resources.
Which is daily, I just want to say. We have a small but mighty team, but we're working hard, and literally daily new content is going up, which is really, really exciting.
Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing so much. And it's just wonderful to be able to share this with everyone. So tell all your friends. We'll post the recording and share that out in the Stars in Higher Ed group so that we can spread the word about this great work. Thank you all so much for your great presentation and sharing tonight. We really appreciate you. Also,
Thank
wonderful.
you for inviting us, Stephanie.
Yeah, thanks, Margie, for juggling all the things today, and thank you, Nancy and Carla, so much for sharing your great work. We appreciate you, and thanks everybody for being here.
Happy holidays.
Yes, thank you for being here and all your hard work that you're doing. I hope you get through finals.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, with flying colors. Yes, happy holidays, everybody. Take care.